Hello, wherever you are in the world, this is a good time to be alive. Now, before we get into the meat and bones of today's contents, a few ground rules. Number one, I make no apologies for being a believer in Jesus Christ. And number two, nothing in this video is financial advice. I want to encourage you all to not FOMO into anything, to make sure you do your own research. There will be another train. But as for me and my house, we are going on the Pulse Chain train. Choo-choo! All aboard! All aboard! Do you know, I'm so excited and I just can't hide it. I gotta tell you about the Pulse Chain. The Pulse Chain is a fork of the Ethereum network, solving the problem of pricing and speed. It's the brainchild of Richard Hart, who is the inventor of Hex, a cryptocurrency. There is a lot of FUD surrounding Richard Hart. However, the success of Hex is a great indication of what Richard Hart can produce. I'm going to be straight with you. The Pulse Chain is a game changer in the crypto world. And the forking of the Ethereum network will be the most disruptive event that has ever taken place in the crypto sphere. Most ERC20 smart contracts will be duplicated onto the Pulse Chain. That means for those of us who hold private keys to any ERC tokens, we will get a duplicate. The Pulse Chain will be the biggest airdrop ever to have taken place. There will be easy integration for us onto MetaMask. Just like when we joined or connected with the Binance Smart Chain, it will be as simple a process as that. And also, another major plus for the Pulse Chain is it replaces proof of work miners, which are currently how blocks are validated on the Ethereum network, with proof of stake validators on the Pulse Chain, making it environmentally friendly. Take some time, please, to look into the Pulse Chain. But as for me and my house, we are getting on the Pulse Chain. If I was going on a long motorway journey and I'm the one driving, I always carry out a few basic checks. I make sure that the air pressure in my tyres is correct, that my water levels are right, that I've got oil in the car, and that I either have enough petrol or I can easily get to a petrol station on the way to ensure that I will make it to where I'm going. I always also carry out due diligence checks before I'm about to make an investment. I mean, failing to prepare amounts to me preparing to fail. And I want to make sure that I'm successful, that the odds, if you like, are weighted in my favour. And success happens where preparation and opportunity meet. And for me and my house, we are of the very clear view that the Pulse Chain train is an opportunity of a lifetime. I've looked into Richard Hart. I've looked at his project Hex, asked questions like, did it achieve what he said it was going to achieve? I've thought about the Pulse Chain and considered, is it solving a problem in the real world? Will it have mass adoption? What are the benefits of it? What's its use case? Who is the team? And of course, I have counted the cost. Oh, there are some journeys. After carrying out my due diligence, I decide, not for me. it's not one I want to go on. Perhaps it's too expensive. Or maybe the risk involved in taking that journey is not outweighed by the potential of any reward. Now, the cost of getting onto the Pulse Chain train are very interesting. There are two key requirements. Let me try and break it down for you. In order to get onto the Pulse Chain train before it leaves the station, I will need to, number one, make a political statement that says I don't agree with the high Etherum gas fees. That's easy. Now, just to be clear, I'm not going to be making a banner and marching around the streets with saying I object. And neither will I make a TikTok video and proclaim my disgust from the rooftop. But if anybody out there feels that that's what they want to do, oh, please, please, copy me in. The way I demonstrate my political statement is by taking the second step, and that's by making a sacrifice and or donation to the cause. And this will be in the form of me surrendering cryptocurrencies that are on an approved list in the manner that has been detailed by the Pulse Chain team. What's that, you ask? That is my scammer alert, mate. I'm telling you, that's the best version of a siren you're going to get from me today. But it's a warning. There are lots of people out there who are trying to steal our money. So before I surrender or make a donation, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that the Pulse website, Richard Hart's Twitter, and the Pulse Chain Telegram group are all telling me the same information about how and where I make my sacrifice and or donation to. Now, more details about what coins are going to be acceptable are going to come out. There is nothing out at the moment, okay? But what I do know is that Hex, Dogecoin, and also Bitcoin Cash are going to feature on the list. I'm aware that currently lots of people are buying Hex as they think it's going to increase in price, which will give them more buying power, if you like, when making their sacrifice and or donation. I want to be clear that when you make any kind of sacrifice or donation, you get nothing, nothing in return for that. And we should not have any expectations to benefit from the work of others when making a sacrifice and or donation. This is quite important actually, because it also has tax implications. Because I know in some jurisdictions, if you do make a sacrifice and or donation, it may be counted as a tax write-off. But you'll need to take some advice on that if you decide that you're going to do this. It may also be that as a result of making a donation and or sacrifice, you might be issued with some tokens which, at the point of them being issued to you, have no value whatsoever. And again, it means that when you receive an airdrop of tokens, and if they have no value, there is no tax implication at that point of receipt. But again, check out what the position is in your jurisdiction. I'll provide some more information on the process when that has come to light. But I do know that it is believed that the sacrifice and donation period will last around 30 days. There's likely to be a bonding curve, and we don't know whether that relates to the volume or the amount that you've given. But more information will be given, and as it's given, I certainly will bring that to you in more videos. So I want to ask you a question. What kind of traveller are you? Are you someone who are happy to put a few pairs of jeans and some t-shirts in a bag, some toothpaste and a toothbrush and a flannel, and you're ready to go? Or are you the type of person who needs to take with you the kitchen sink and everything else in between? Well, on the Pulse Chain train, there is no luggage restrictions. You can travel light, should you wish to, but also you can carry as many bags as you want with no fear, unlike going to the airport, of having to face some excess baggage charges. Now, if you are deciding to travel light, and by that I mean maybe you're taking less than 10 kg, wait, I'm going to give you my best thoughts as to how I, if I was traveling light, might approach that. It's going to be one or two ways, and it would be dependent on how I see the crypto market at the time or in the lead up to me making my sacrifice or donation. If I thought that it was a bloody affair, that everything was going to run red, that the crypto market was looking like it was going to bleed, I would be putting my sacrifice amount into USDC and just holding it until the time and the rules and the instructions came out to make the sacrifice. But if, however, I wanted to try and make more of my sacrifice amount, then actually I would be buying HEX. And the reason why I would be buying HEX is because others are buying HEX, and it's likely that the price of HEX is going to increase. And if indeed it does, then it would mean I would have more buying power when I make my sacrifice and or donation. So that would just depend on how I viewed the market. In terms of the timing, what we know is that the sacrifice office, we believe is, the ticketing office is going to be open for 30 days. And I believe that from day 1 to day 3, that you can make a donation on the first 3 days and you'll get the same allocation, if you like. It's based on the dollar amount that you sacrifice, but you'll get the same amount on day 1, day 2 and day 3. On day 4 and from onward, you will have to pay more for your ticket, basically. And so on day 7, you'll be paying more than you did on day 4. On day 4, you'll be paying more than you did on day 1, 2 and 3. But on day 1, 2 and 3, you will be effectively weighted the same amount. So knowing that, in order to make a transaction on the Ethereum network, the fees are high. If I were going to travel light, then I would just make one transaction and I would do it within the first 3 days. If, however, I decided I was going to be traveling with lots of bags or more than 10 kg, then I might what they call dollar cost average in. So I may make a sacrifice within the first 3 days, and then after that, particularly if I had all of my bags mainly in HEX, I would then, in the hope that as the sacrifice information and the pulse chain opportunity became more widely known, then there is the possibility that the price of HEX could go up, and therefore I would be hoping and hedging my bets on that potential that it would go up and increase in price, and so I had dollar cost averaging over the remainder of the 30-day period. But to be clear, the impression we have so far is that on day 30, that's when effectively you will pay the most for your ticket entry onto the train. Okay, but that's how we understand. So as for me and my house, my mind is made up. We are getting tickets on the Pulse Chain train. So it's time for us to get on our marks and to get set. The train has not left the station, and in fact, at this stage, we're not sure what time the train is leaving the station, but what we do know, it's going to be happening shortly, and so it's time for me maybe to consolidate some of the bags of coins that I've got into the coin that I think I'll be putting into the sacrifice. It's time for me to set my boundaries in terms of what kind of coin amount I'll be sacrificing and or donating. Time for me to investigate the tax implications of that and to get set, to be ready. I want to encourage you that if you have found any benefit from listening in to this video today, please would you subscribe, like, comment and share with your people. I'll be sharing more information in the days ahead, but in the interim, God bless you. And please do, check out the Telegram group for Pulse Chain. Details are provided in this slide. It is so worth you leaning in to the conversation and dialogue that's taking place 24 hours, having a list maybe of questions that you want to ask, reading through the pinned post, and just gleaning as much information as you can from the pulsechain.com website. God bless you. Bye for now.